Today I'm going to be working on this espresso machine. This is a Saeco machine. It is a machine that was made for Starbucks. It's called the Starbucks Barista, I believe. Had this thing for years. This was built in 2005, so it'll be 19 years old here in a couple months. Problem with this is this steam valve, which allows steam to come out of this steam wand. When the machine is heating up, or when it's just sitting there hot, or when I'm brewing espresso, this steam valve does not shut off all the way, so water drips. So I usually have a cup under it to hold the water, but it also reduces the amount of pressure that comes out of my espresso part here. I've gone online and found a company that sells replacement parts, and this is what they've given me. Some O-rings, looks like basically a variety of O-rings, and I guess the internal valve piece. So this is what I've got. I'm gonna go ahead and take the machine apart and get these replaced. So the first step is going to be to remove the Phillips screws that they have in here. It looks like only about 6 of them. Should be pretty easy. Then we'll get this back cover taken off and see what we're dealing with. Of course, one seems to have been stripped, possibly when it was installed. Let's see if we can get this to cooperate. There we go. Just in case it matters, I've laid these screws out in orientation of where they were at in this panel here. They look similar. These top 2 are different, and these bottom 2 had washers. So anyway, get those put back where they belong when it's time. Something's holding it up, but I don't see any more screws. I'm going to go ahead and take apart what I can from here, just to make sure that I don't have anything that's connecting the front on. I don't want to damage this by taking it apart. So I'll get rid of this guy. And then we've got 4 little bolts under here. All right, those are out. Well, that did not help with taking this top off. It's still stuck in here somewhere. It could be just slid down in there, so, and not actually attached by screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that idea and see if I can carefully get it to come out without damaging it. And it does not seem to want to cooperate for some reason. I have to figure out why it's stuck in there. So let's see what else we got here. if we can figure out what the holdup is in there. Well, it looks like it just slides into a slot. So it looks like the front just slides down into that gray channel right there. So I'm going to try a little harder at pulling it out. Do want to be careful that I don't damage it, or it's not a huge deal. It's going to just make it look not as nice, and I'd like to try to avoid that if I can and have it look good when I'm done. All right, so since it's attached right up in here, that's where I'm going to try to put a little pressure on this to get it to come. There we go. That's super easy. All right. So that's out. Okay, so what we have here is our knob that turns the steam on and off. Looks like it activates this switch at the same time. So the steam wand comes down right from the bottom here. So the piece that we need to fix is most likely going to be in here because it has to stop the water from going down. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking this piece out with the steam wand and try to find the valve piece that's in there. Looks like this is attached with an Allen wrench. So I'm going to take this off so I can get this piece out. Well, I do not have all of my tools with me today and cannot find the exact Allen wrench, but I do have a number 8 Torx that seems to fit in here. So I'm going to be careful with this and get this out this way. All right, that seems to be loose. All right. Okay, looks like this just unscrews once that's off. All right, and this is what we have. So, by looking at this, this is most likely the piece that is supposed to seal. But I'll have to get into this and see if this is what we're replacing or not. All right, to make this easier, I'm going to go ahead and take this whole unit out so that I can work on this and then put the whole thing back in. I'm going to take a picture of these connectors and where they go so that I can put them back correctly when I'm done. All right, I've already got the bolts out from the bottom from earlier. So I'll start by disconnecting these contacts here. All right, these, which I've never seen before, there's a little clip in there. So you got to push the clip down to get the pin to come out of the hole, and then you can slide the connector off. Actually, this one looks like it might be upside down. Going to take off what we have to make it easier to put back together. We got that tube on that side that needs to come off. Come on. Take this guy off. Let's not do that yet. Really don't want any of this to leak when I'm done. So this one was a little too difficult to get apart. I guess I could have tried a little harder, but if I can do it a different way and reduce the risk of that leaking, then I'm going to do that. Put back in there. All right, so here I have the steam wand, and I've unscrewed this and remove this. This piece right here came out of this. So that I believe is in our kit of replacement parts. Right here we have a silver one. So we'll have to make sure that we get everything in for that. I have to figure out where these O-rings go. And this is how it is with our knob. This is going to go on our knob like that. So that's how we know this goes in towards the steam wand. I'm going to pull up the diagram that shows how these parts go from the company that I bought the replacement valve from. So this is the website, coffeesection.com. This is the part I got. Saeco parts, Starbucks Barista. This is the model number SIN006, and it's the steam valve repair kit. So what I have here is this metal piece, which is right there. It's got a little washer on it. This little white one is the only one that's going to fit on that, so that's where that goes. That leaves us with two O-rings, and two of these same size smaller O-rings, and this bigger O-ring right here. So if we look here, we've got the same size O-rings that go on the piece that I pulled from the knob, and then the larger one looks like it goes underneath at the bottom where the steam valve connects. So I'm probably going to leave that one off for now since it's not a problem. I don't want to take it apart, but I will replace the other O-rings where they belong. All right, so the first step is to take our new valve piece and put the washer on. I want to make sure it's the same size. It doesn't look like it is, but actually it won't be the same size once I put this piece on here, but we're going to put it on anyway because it's part of the kit, and that's what it's supposed to be for. We'll see how that works out. All right, so that's gonna go inside, and then that should go on. I got some O-rings to put in there, but yeah, we'll go ahead and give this a shot. Hopefully it cooperates. The O-rings feel like they are on this piece right here. Yeah, it's a little grubby, but yeah, 1, 2. So I'll get these pulled off and get the new ones put on. See if I can find a little screwdriver for that to pull those off with. All right, so here we go. These can be a pain. I don't like ruining things as I'm taking things apart, just in case we need to reuse them. But these O-rings can be kind of a pain depending on how they're put in. There's one. Ouch. Come on. Well, that one's broken. All right. Now for the two new ones. All right, those are both in. All right, time to put it back together and see if we got it fixed. So we'll put this together the reverse of the way we took it apart. Actually, we'll take that out for now. We'll put this back in. Okay. Get that drop down where it belongs. All right. That piece back in there. Put this Allen screw back in. I'm going to want to try this out before I put it fully back together. I want to make sure that we don't have any leaks or anything goofy going on. All right, seems okay. Let's see, this red piece goes back underneath this. Green goes here. Red goes here. This gray goes here. And that should be it. We do have this piece, which is not screwed. I guess I am going to have to screw that back on now because the switch is activated when I turn the valve. So we'll get that put back on. I knew that was going to happen. All right. So we'll get the water tank filled up and put in place, get it plugged in. Not a super good idea to play with things electric while they're open. So I'll be careful and I won't touch anything in here while I'm testing the machine out. All right, got the water partially filled, plugged in. We'll go ahead and turn it on. And we'll check to see if water comes out. It's coming out of the bottom. That's not what's supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be coming out of here. So something's wrong with the valve. Just looking at how this one is and how long it is tells me that this piece needs to be replaced. Needs to be replaced with this specific piece right here. Not sure exactly how the whole flow works on here, but opening the valve should not activate that. Looks like I did forget to put one wire on. I have unplugged the machine, but this, I forgot, goes on this. So I'm not sure if there's a relay or how that works. I'm not sure if that will or won't fix the problem, but we can't test for sure if things aren't connected correctly. So that's back together. We'll go ahead and plug it in and try it again. All right. Plugged back in, let's check it out. Nope, still comes out of the bottom. All right, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna take this valve knob off. Find my screwdriver. There. Alright, so we can do this. That will allow us to unscrew the valve. And it looks like my washer is stuck inside, so I'm going to need to get that out before I use this other piece. Okay, there's that. Come on. All right, that's out. So we're going to try using the original valve piece again. We're just using the new O-rings. Put that on. Get that put back in. Get this turned where it belongs. All right, get that tightened up. This piece right here, it just only allows the valve to turn on and it hits a stopping point. If this is loosened up, then that's where you are able to unscrew the valve all the way out. So that's what that's for. All right, we'll get this plugged back in and give it a test with the old valve part. On. Yep, that works. And seems to shut off. It is dripping a little bit, as you can see. But water doesn't come out from down here when it's on. It does a little bit, but not like it was. So one thing else that we're going to do, I'll go ahead and shut this off, and I'm going to replace the little washer on the original valve with the new piece. That's off, that's off. All right, so let's try this. Loosen that guy. Still some pressure built up in there because it's hot and pressurized. But it is turned off and unplugged. Don't want to drop this. Okay, here's our original valve and this little washer here. So we'll try to get this off. See if we can put the new one on this. Possibly we could just use this new valve without that extra washer and see if that does it. I'm gonna go ahead and try that first. We've got a few things we can try here, but we will get it going one way or another. All right. All right, that's all the way in. Get this piece tightened up. Oops, get back here. All right. All right, we'll plug it in and test. Turn it on. Problem is that now it is, if the valve isn't turned all the way off, it's putting water out the bottom, and we can't have that. So we got to still work on it, figure out what's going to work best for this situation. All right, so it looks like our best bet is our old valve piece here. It's the right length apparently, and our new O-rings here. So we'll get that put back together, give it another test. Make sure that's up in the right spot. Okay, this piece tightened up. It's cleaned up. All right, we'll plug it in and test again. Plugged in, turned on. Nothing's leaking. Nothing's dripping out of the bottom. And it shuts off. That's perfect. The only thing I needed was the 2 O-rings that went in there. This other valve and this other piece, maybe for another model, slightly different, I'm not sure, but it's not working out with this one. This is normal for it to drip a little bit. It's not a big deal because there's water in there, but we'll put it all back together and give it a full test and make an espresso with it and see how it works out. Check up here for leaks. I don't see any leaks out of here. I don't see any leaks on the other side there where we tried to disconnect a tube, so that's all good. So I am a little disappointed in the parts. They looked like high quality parts. It would have been nice if they were the exact fit. I do believe though that the only thing I needed was the O-rings to fix this. I paid 20 bucks for the kit, which is worth it to me. The espresso machine cost me, I think it was 150 on sale 19 years ago. It was like a 220 original price, something like that. So to spend $20 to get it back to normal, that works for me. These things are pretty solid. I've had this thing forever, so I think it's worth it to put a few bucks in to keep it going. So we're gonna test this now fully with an espresso. And during the test, I'm gonna show you how to make the best espresso that I know how to make with one of these things. So I don't have all the fancy espresso tools. I don't have the metal steamer cup. I don't have the tamper, anything fancy like that. But what I do have works for me and works fine every single time. So I'm going to show you how to do that as we test the machine. So we'll get this turned on. Throw some espresso in here. I have found that there are differences in espresso that make a huge difference when you're making these. It could seem like a not too big of a difference or just a slight change, but it can make a huge difference in how these turn out. So what I like to do is to fill this as much as possible. And like I said, I don't have all the tools. I don't have proper direction. I just know what I have found by using this. I know what works for me. So I'm gonna pack this as much as I can. This espresso happens to be Pete's Major Dickinson's blend, which is pretty good. I have had better, but this is pretty good, and I've definitely had a lot worse. This is ground on with a burr grinder at a number 2, so it's pretty fine. Makes it hard for the machine to pump through it because I've really packed this in here and it's so fine that it gets really dense. But this machine can do it, and I like a nice strong espresso. So we'll get that packed in there. All right, put this on. We're going to want that set to steam. Well, for these machines, what we want to do first is to prime it. So it's already been primed, but I'll do it anyway. So the machine is on, no buttons are selected other than the power, and we'll just get some water coming out. Make sure there's no air in the lines. Turn it off, and we'll put it on steam. Now at this point, the way it was set up before, or with the old parts in there, this would continuously drip. And so that would be a problem. Let's see if we can get a better shot. Yeah, and it drips a little. I found that if I really crank that, it'll turn all the way off. I don't like putting that much pressure on it, but it's working the way it's supposed to. So we're gonna get this to the steam level, and then we will steam our milk and cream. And then after that's done, then we will brew the espresso. These cups I get from Walmart for like $3. I had a 4-ounce one before, but it broke. This one's a 5-ounce, so it's a little more complicated to get in there. It doesn't just fit under there. You kind of have to, angle it in there. Not a huge deal. But it's got the ounces on there, which is what I go by. For our milk and cream, I have found any of these creams that are milk, cream, vanilla, and sugar as the ingredients. Those are the best ones. This is the one I'm using. Vanilla seems to taste the best for the hot ones. I'll make cold ones also that sweet cream seems to be better, but that's up to your preference. To get an exact blend every time, I will go to the 2.5 ounces on the cream. So fill this thing up to 2.5 ounces and then dump it in our cup. Just use that under there. And then we'll take our milk and use whatever milk you want. Actual cow's milk tastes the best, but everybody has their preferences. I'll fill the milk up to the 1 cup. And that's it. That's our milk and cream mixture. You can vary if you want, knock down a 1/2 ounce, add another, depending on the sweetness that you want out of it. I use a regular thermometer, throw that in there. And I used to get these super hot, but in reality, probably, depending on your preference, my wife likes hers at 135, that's too cold for me. I think 155 is better for me. So now that we have our light on indicating that our steam is ready, I'll go ahead and turn this on, push the extra water out of the tube. So we just have steam coming out. Shut that off, move our little cup, and then we will steam this until it hits 155. If you get it just right, you get it to where it doesn't scream at you while it's steaming away. The more air you let in while you're steaming, the foamier it'll get. Some people like the foam, some people don't, but it definitely helps quiet it down. We're at about 100. $120. $140. And we're at about 150, 155. That's good for me for now, for today. Shut that off. I like to put this cup under there. I don't like the drips, and I also like to soak the wand in the water to keep it clean, but for now I'm just gonna do it right down there. So this up here. All right, we'll turn our steam off, and we are gonna brew to, usually I do 2 ounces. Today I'm gonna go ahead and do 2.5, which is probably not per barista standards, but that's the way I do it. This is the real test right here to see how our new parts in here work. Before I put the new parts in, it's dripping now. I'll turn it a little bit tighter. It's way better. It used to pour. It would come out of here about as much as it would come out of there. I'm perfectly happy with the drip. It's no big deal to me. I'm sure if I really crank this, it'll shut all the way off, but I'm not worried about it. There's a lot of pressure going through here right now with the amount of espresso I put in there. And I'll give you a better shot of this. All right, so we're at, I overdid it, 2.5. I was talking too much, but that's what we're working with today. 2.5 ounces of espresso. We'll dump it in here. And then what I'm gonna do, when I pour it in the cup, I'm gonna put a fork over the spout right here, so all the foam stays in the cup. And then if I want more foam, I'll put some in myself. All right, so I'll go ahead and pour this in. I used to not put a fork here. I used to just dump it in, but I'm doing this today because people that don't like foam, this is the way you keep it out. All right, but I'm gonna put some foam in because I'm gonna show you something else. Get the white foam in there. Another lazy espresso trick. I'll give you a better shot. So if you don't pour the espresso in the cream, I just recently started doing that to help it mix better, but you would put it in the cup, then you'd put the cream on top and you'd have a white little cloud of foam. What I do just for fun, and you guys may or may not care about this, but I make my wife's espresso, and I'll take the dark foam and I always make her a heart. That's how I do art on espresso. A lot of people have the skills where they can pour the cream a certain way. I can't, but I can do all kinds of little drawings with my little thermometer and the espresso foam. So anyway, something to think about if you care or not, doesn't matter. But we'll give this a shot. Yep, perfect. Ideally, I would do 2 ounces of espresso and have 1 cup total of a milk cream mixture, cream being at about 2.5 ounces. But like I said, you can play with it, but that's the best flavor combination I've come up with. So anyway, that does it for the best espresso that I could make with what I've got video. And that is the way to make the best espresso that I've made on this machine. I do it all the time. I could drink these every day, a couple times a day, and never gets old for me. Something that I also do is I will brew the 2 ounces of espresso hot, and then I'll take the cream mixture, but don't steam it, and then take the espresso, pour it in the cream, pour that in a Ziploc bag, and then freeze it. And then let that freeze for 24 hours. Next day, you do the same thing, espresso shot and the cream, and you take the mixture that you've just made, and you take the frozen mixture that you made the day before, you throw that in a blender, and it, turn it on, and it is an amazing espresso smoothie. So if you like a cold blended, that's the way to go. I don't like doing iced coffee so much because the ice always waters down the drink. And this way you get the full flavor, no water down, and it's good all the way to the bottom. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.